So important that we become empowered for our own health, our own treatment, our own healing in all areas of our lives, because we have that power, we have that ability to take back our power and listen to our own internal selves, listen to our innate healer.
Healing is work that you have to put in. You have to own it. You have to own everything you have done, everything you haven't done, and you have to merge those two into one cohesive space so that your shadows and your light love each other and embrace the fact that it's okay to have those shadows and it's okay to have this light and it's okay to blend them together.
Nature has been a big part of my healing. This is my little forest. It has been a huge part of my healing process because not only can I be a little bit more alone when I want to, I can have that peace and quiet when I want, but also nature herself obviously is crucial to our health on all levels, spiritual, physical, emotional, mental.
It's just been really, really beautiful of a journey, but it's one that's also like, if I could write a book on like the step-by-step process that it took for me to, get into this journey, it feels like impossible because it's just been like, following one intuitive nudge with another and that connection, and some things just don't have an explanation, right? And so it's just a knowing that we kind of experience.
Hey everyone, it's Sophia from Sacred You. Thank you so much for being here. A quick message before we dive into today's discussion. You may have been watching our videos, but have not had a chance to hit that subscribe button. So if you have gained value from our conversations, from our channel, it would be so appreciated for us if you would hit that subscribe button below right now and even give us a like. What that means is not only does it allow us to grow our subscriber base, but it also allows us to bring in even more guests for you to listen to. And you will be one of the first ones to be notified. So please hit that subscribe button and let's get started on today's wonderful panel discussion.
Welcome to another wonderful Wisdom Circle. My name's Sophia from Sacred You. I have the honour of co-creating Sacred You, but more importantly, I'm really excited because today I have the honour in facilitating this wonderful Wisdom Circle on a topic that is really close to my heart, and that is healing the spirit, holistic approaches to well-being. And without going into my whole story yet, which I will share, before that, I'd love to introduce these amazing women that are with us today. I've only got two women with us, but they're really incredible. So welcome, Tywanah and Abby. Would you like to say
Thank
hello?
you.
Let's just have a conversation. Tywanah, why don't you start because you're here first. Would you like to say hello? Tell us where you're from and what interests you in this topic?
Hello, everyone. I'm Tywanah EVETTE, also known by my native name, Thunderbird Rising, fourth generation healer, high priestess, shaman, and trauma recovery facilitator. I'm also tribe leader here at Sacred You for the Psychic Essence Collective, and I also teach one of the archetype circles. So I am very glad to be here. And what interests me in this topic is healing holistically is the best way to go. I've gone to doctors for years with battling with different things and started seeing holistic doctors, and now things are actually healing versus me having to go back to get medicine and that cycle that just goes on and on. So I love holistic approaches to well-being, meditation, breathwork, sound therapy. Holistic functional medicine doctors is what we call them here in the US, but holistic practitioners is what they're called everywhere else. And I'm just glad to be here. So thank you.
Thank you for being here. I'm really excited and really excited to hear more. And what about the beautiful and amazing Abby? Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am a speaker. I'm an author, a best-selling author, and advocate for trauma recovery. being on a journey myself as a survivor of childhood trauma and abuse, also in recovery from addiction. And I have turned my mess into my medicine, and I help other women work through their own stuff and to be able to show up with their brilliant gifts that we all have. We all have gifts to share in the world, and do it in a way that is with flow, without sacrificing their values, their mental health, their magic. I'm also a mother of four. I have four young children, and that takes up a lot of my time. And I love this topic as well. I like I mentioned, I am a trauma survivor, and I have tried so many different modalities for healing. And I have found great success in going back to the basics of the earth medicines and Indigenous practices, Indigenous ways of knowing and doing and being. And that has helped me tremendously. And so I'm really excited to dive into this topic today.
Thank you. I'm excited too that you're here and want to know more about your traditional and Indigenous medicines and methods and everything else. So really thank you for sharing that. And Anna has just joined us. Perfect time. And Anna, we're going to throw you right into the deep end. Would you like to say hello? Tell us a little bit about yourself and what interests you in today's topic.
Oh, thank you, Sophia. I'm so glad to be here. I apologize for my surprising appearance. Technology always has a mind of its own.
Yes.
But yes, I'm so glad to be with the beautiful, powerful women here. I love to empower people, honestly. That is my mission, and that is what drives me beyond anything else, because I know that when I've been in very difficult situations, what has gotten me out was not feeling powerless, but the opposite, really feeling that I could change something, that I had the power to change my life. And I did not always have that. I find that is one of the most important things that is missing in a lot of our daily lives. And so this feeling of empowerment is what really drives me to do everything that I do. And so for me, I love to really guide and teach people how to do the healing on their own. It doesn't mean that they're on their own, right? But it means that we all have this beautiful power within us. And so whether that is calming our mind, or whether that is just allowing ourselves to feel the emotions that have been stored away for decades, we do have the power to do that. And so that really is what has saved my life sometimes in the past, and also helped the people that really need it. So if I could just sum up into one word, my mission and everything that's pushing me forward, it's empowerment.
Thank you for sharing that. And ditto. Really ditto, because it's so important that we become empowered for our own health, our own treatment, our own healing in all areas of our lives, because we have that power. As you said, we have that ability to take back our power and listen to our own internal selves, listen to our innate healer. So thank you. All right, so before we start, may I just suggest, let's just take a breath. Let's just really connect with ourselves. So just taking a few moments of just nice deep breathing right down into the belly, and just connecting with that source, with that being within us in this sacred space. Even though we are online, we're gathering in a space together to really just to connect and to release the noise of the outside world. Even though for me at the moment I've got noise of beautiful birds, which I like, but the noise of the clutter, the technology and everything else, let's just release that and just come home to our breath. And just centering ourselves. Just taking a moment to remember of our power. Remember to connect with that healing power within us. and to return to who we truly are. And just breathing. Thank you. I think it's always nice just to start with a few seconds of breath work, of connectedness. So I'd love to know, and let's just have a conversation. And please also share your personal experiences with when we're having the conversation, because I think for a lot of people, something about empowerment and what really empowers other people, especially women, is hearing stories of what other women go through, because they can identify it as, wow, that really inspires me. If that woman can do it, so can I. So let's share our stories and inspire everyone who is watching. So I'd love to know, what does spiritual healing mean to you? Let's just start with that. What does it really mean? Is it a destination? Is it a relationship? Do we fix ourselves? Or do we really come back to remembering who we truly are? So what does spiritual healing mean?
For me, it was remembering who I was and taking on that role bravely and boldly and unapologetically. It did involve, I can't even say fixing. It involved a lot of healing work. And healing is work that you have to put in. You have to own it. You have to own everything you have done, everything you haven't done, and you have to merge those two into one cohesive space so that your shadows and your light love each other, in for lack of a better term, and embrace the fact that it's okay to have those shadows and it's okay to have this light and it's okay to blend them together. So for me, it was coming back home to me, learning who I was, learning my culture. That was an experience that I can never forget, where my ancestors showed me where we came from. And so it was really coming home to me. Healing is an everyday thing. We never stop until we're gone. We're not completely healed. And even on the other side, you're not completely healed. You go through some training, for lack of a better word, when you get to the other side for about a year and a day, to learn how to communicate and go between the realms, like those of us who can go between the realms now. So for me, definitely coming home to me and who I am, and loving that person and accepting them unconditionally. That's been my experience.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And it's so true. It's remembering who we are, remembering our abilities. So thank you, Joanna. And Abby or Anna, do you have anything that you'd like to share?
Sure. I think Tywanah really nailed it with what I was thinking as well. For me, the best part of healing has been that remembering who I've always been before the world did its thing. And it's brought so much peace, so much joy in knowing that because like I mentioned, I've overcome quite a bit of things in my lifetime. And as a child, I just remember one of my biggest, deepest yearnings was to understand why. Like, why did this happen? And why is this happening? And I always had this why, this curiosity, and it was never satisfied because the answers that were given to me were just not, they weren't satisfying. They were just more about not thinking about things. They were more about sweeping things under the rug. It's just the way it is, was a common one. It's just, and those were just not satisfying for me. And so in my healing journey and really remembering my roots and where I come from and my ancestors and everything that they've done and all of that kind of stuff, it all makes sense now. And so that question of why this and why that, even though it's not like a concrete answer, it's just, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense from knowing that I chose my parents for a specific reason. There were certain things that my soul really came here to transmute, to really break certain patterns and certain generational curses, all of that kind of stuff. And that just brought me so much comfort and joy and peace in knowing that, more than in my own personal experience, more than going to a church did and going down that path. Right. And so it's been very interesting to, I'm just scratching the surface with that for myself. It's only been a couple of years that I've really started to dig deep into who I am, where I come from, my soul purpose, all of that kind of stuff. And it's been exciting, just so exciting. I feel like I said, I'm just scratching the surface, and there's just so much more to wisdom to be gained and more to learn about. And then the really cool thing about it too is that now I get to teach my children a lot of the things that I'm learning, a lot of the ways that I'm learning and relearning and remembering and teaching them. And for them, it's so natural. Like it's so fluid, like explaining to them about having a connection with the land, for example, that this is our great mother, and that because we have a garden in the backyard, and so when we were taking out all the tomatoes and the carrots and all that kind of stuff, explaining to them like we're so grateful that the great mother gave this to us, and let's say thank you for these berries and all. And they're, for them, it's just, they don't question it. They're just like, oh, that makes sense. And like my son, he'll be walking barefoot sometimes, and he'll be like, I just want my feet on Mother Earth today. And I was like, that's good. That's good. I feel that connection. Yeah, so it's just been really beautiful of a journey, but it's one that's also, if I could write a book on like the step-by-step process that it took for me to get into this journey, it feels like impossible, because it's just been like following one intuitive nudge with another, and that connection. And some things just don't have an explanation, right? And so it's just a knowing that we kind of experience. And so for me, that's what spiritual healing has been for me.
Thank you for sharing that. And I love the idea of your son walking barefoot on the earth, growing up like
Yes.
that, being connected to the earth and thanking the earth for everything that it gives us. So much in today's world, we don't even consider where our food comes from when we can get it naturally. And then I think in other parts, on the other hand, we probably don't want to consider where some of our food comes from either. But thank you, Abby, and I want to just honor you and Tywanah and Anna, but especially you, Abby, for growing things in your backyard and bringing your children up like that so they get to know what real food is and connecting to the earth. Thank you for sharing. And Anna, would you like to share anything for you about healing the spirit and any experiences that you would like to add?
Yes, that is just so beautiful what both Tywanah and Abby mentioned. Nature has been a big part of my healing. I'm down here in South America. This is my little forest, and it has been a huge part of my healing process because not only can I be a little bit more alone when I want to, I can have that peace and quiet when I want, but also nature herself, obviously, as Abby's teaching her children, is crucial to our health on all levels, spiritual, physical, emotional, mental. And whenever I'm overwhelmed by anything, I just walk out into the forest and I instantly feel not only supported, but I feel like nature is absorbing my stress, recycling it and turning it into flowers. It really is magical and that cannot be put into words. So I personally wanted to emphasize how restorative that is on all levels. So yes, but another thing that really guides my healing is for sure, like Tywanah said, remembering who I am, or maybe who I was when I was very young, before lots of things happened. But even more than that, it's remembering who I always have been beyond this life. Because all of us spring from this eternal source that is all powerful and that is just obviously hard to describe too, but it's pure light and creative potential. And that is who we are also, beyond and underneath and within every part of our bodies and our minds and our hearts and even our souls. That is who we are. And so what really is my shining star up in the north, the direction I go into when I'm healing, is to expand into who I truly am on a very deep level. And it's not only a mental exercise, and I'm not only just feeling the energy in my body, but it is truly a matter of becoming that which I really am. Because when we say, Tywanah mentioned at the beginning, being okay with having both sides, the dark and the light, coexisting, if instead we try to just get rid of all of our pain, we are actually rejecting a part of the all. And I understand why we want to do that. Obviously, it's uncomfortable, and I completely understand. I wish it were different many times. But really, integrating all aspects of reality is the way to remembering who we really are on that very big level. And so I do my best. I'm not enlightened, and I'm still trying to accept all levels of dark and light in this reality. It's still a work in progress. And no, we never, in my opinion, no, we never really finish we never finish healing in this lifetime, in any lifetime, really, because remembering who we truly are and healing in the sense of becoming whole, those words heal and whole actually come from the same word, at least in English. And when we are becoming more whole, becoming more of our true selves, it is a process that does continue on until we're all the way back in source. So yes, it's continuous, it's ongoing, and it's also really worth it, because once we go through all of those very difficult things and we really look at it and we go through it, we don't get stuck in it, but we go through it, we expand out beyond it to include that and so much more, all of the unconditional love and acceptance of reality in ourselves, then it's worth it. It's worth it to feel that power coming back to empowerment, because this infinite source of light and power is within us. And that is the direction I go when I.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And again, I'd just like to acknowledge you, Anna, because it's so true. When we connect with that infinite power and source, then magic can really happen. And I think for me, we get in touch with our bodies. We allow our bodies to tell us if there's anything wrong. And I believe, and I'd love to know what everyone else thinks, when we are in touch with that infinite power and source, then, we are naturally healthy. Everything naturally heals. We don't have any blockages, because for me, we get unwell, and I'm sure everyone else agrees, when we have blockages in our connection to our thought. And I'd love to know from everyone, if you've got any experience too, is how does your body let you know when your spirit is out of balance? Like when you're not connected to that source, how does your body tell you?
For me, my chakras just go crazy. It's like every pain and tinge that they can send, it's like ant warning message that something's not right. And I really have to tune in to find out, okay, what's going on? What's happening? Why is this happening? What happened before to make it happen, if that makes sense? And then what do I need to do to get rid of this? So it's a process, learning how to live by your intuition, which is how we should be making every single decision for our lives, should come from our intuition. It will never steer you wrong. It is part of your highest self. So it can't steer you down the wrong road or in the wrong direction. So if we make every decision based on really centering, tapping into our body's wisdom and saying, hey, is this a good decision? Your body will tell you. You might get a little twinge in your stomach. You might feel pressure in your head. Your heart may start beating a little faster. You might feel back pain or pressure right here. So or a sore throat. So there's a million ways that the body's chakras will light up and tell you, no, that's not the right decision to make. But if your body is still and calm, then it's a yes. And I love knowing that every decision that I make from my intuition will not be some penalty down the road. There will not be some penalty. It's the right decision. So I don't even have to ask my ancestors and my guides when I'm really tuned in and my body says yes, then I know they've already blessed it. So I don't have to do anything with them. But our bodies have so much wisdom.
Yes.
And we have to tap into it as women.
Yes. Huge generations of wisdom that is in there. Thank you. And Abby, do you have anything for you? How does your body let you know when something's out of whack?
Our bodies are very intelligent when we listen to them. Just a car, if something like right now I'm having problems with the battery in my car that I just bought, and it's signaling, like there's a signal on there that's telling me that there's something that needs to get checked. It needs to get checked out. And so I need to check it out in order for me to fix it so that I don't get stranded somewhere. And so similarly, our bodies will start to signal when something is off balance. And so that's for me when I'm out of balance in whether it's sleep, whether it's water, my water intake, whether it's more spiritual, my spiritual practices, my body will let me know. My body will let me know. And so that could look like waking up and feeling depressed first thing in the morning. Just like out of nowhere, I'm like feeling sad. And I'm just like, okay, let me get curious about this. Like, why am I feeling like this? What's happening? It's seemingly out of nowhere. And there's seemingly nothing really happening. But when I really take the time to sit still with myself and I really dig in, oftentimes it'll tell me like, oh, you've skipped your smudging 3 days in a row. You haven't done that. You haven't connected with, there's this book that you've been really loving to read and you've been putting it aside and putting it aside. Like you haven't been feeding yourself in these ways. There's always something that I like the root will come out, like the root cause, right? And sometimes when it's physical things like headaches, I do struggle with headaches quite a bit. Oftentimes I haven't been drinking my daily amount of water. I haven't been sleeping my allotted time frame that's rejuvenating for me. And so my body's indicating there's something that's out of balance. And so when you start to pay attention, like when I've started to pay attention, I start to learn more deeper about what it is, the things that I need in order to get back into balance. And then it's oftentimes when I listen and when it tells me and then I do it, I feel better. I feel better like miraculously. But again, this only happens because I take the time to sit in stillness and to really lean in and think about it rather than having a band-aid solution and say I wake up with a headache and I just pop a Tylenol. And I'm like, oh, this is an inconvenience to me. So I'm just going to pop this Tylenol for me right now and not deal with this. And it's like this band-aid situation. So it might feel better, but like the root of it wasn't really I didn't help myself in that way, right? And I'm still going to be having that probably wake up the next day with a headache because I'm still not doing the things that I know I need to do to get myself back into balance. Yeah, it's like I said, it's really fun to be able to start to learn to the wisdom that we carry, as beings, to our intuition. And I love what Tywanah was talking about just having so much faith and trust when we start to learn that our intuition is so powerful and that it will not steer us wrong, right? When we get that full body yes, or even that full body no. Like how many of us have said yes to something when our body was telling us no? To people please, we're like, oh yes, I'll do it, and then the time comes and you're like dreading it. You're just like, oh, why did I say it? And it's like your body was telling you say no. And so too many times to count, I've experienced that myself. And so I've learned now, I'm learning.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. And yes, again, totally agree. And I think Anna and Tywanah also agree about listening to our body when it's telling us to say no. But yes, thank you. And I love it how the going beyond popping the pill, which I want to get into, why do we pop pills when we've got all these other holistic methods? But thank you for sharing that. But Anna, do you have anything that you would like to share about any messages that your body's giving you?
Yes, they're right what they're saying about Abby and Tawana about making the right choices. Your body really knows. It's so wise. There are a couple other ways that I work with my body I actually talk to my body and I ask it questions. So if, for example, I have a headache, I can go into the headache. I can actually ask my brain what it needs from me. Maybe it has a message for me. Maybe it's saying I'm just overthinking. Maybe it's saying I need to take a nap. It could be anything. But if I actually go in and listen, it will give me an answer, surprisingly.
Yes. Yes.
And it could be for anything, any kind of physical issue. And that would be instead of taking the pill, right? Again, so it all comes back full circle because I also can talk to my body and say, body, I'd really like you to do whatever it needs to do. If it's not digesting something, I can give it a hint in case we're going to just digest everything fully and we're going to feel good. When whatever you don't need, it'll just pass. Just give it an encouragement or even a command if necessary, because the body really loves to serve us. It's not trying to make our lives miserable when it comes up with those pains and those illnesses. It's not trying to make us suffer. It's actually giving us that message that, in my experience, we actually can listen to. So yes, I talk to my body, I have a conversation with it. And also I use it to do my trauma healing, because if there is something inside that needs to be healed, my body will let me know if I'm paying attention. To repeat there, I think it was Tywanah who said that you have to at least pay attention, though. If you're not listening, if you're ignoring it, it doesn't do any good. But to do any kind of trauma healing, I first go into the body and I actually let myself feel it. And I know it sounds scary, and I know it's not easy, but it is a very simple way to let that steam out. It's really bottled up down there. The body is kind of really related to the subconscious, and it's really bottled up in there when we weren't safe to feel something back whenever the thing happened. And so when we do feel safe in a quiet moment, I love to give myself the opportunity to feel that. And I do feel it in the body. And so just staying with that and letting the sensation move and change on its own is a huge part of the healing for me. So the body is just so priceless in so many ways.
Thank you. And it certainly is. We've only got one of them in this lifetime anyway. And it is so very priceless. And if we listen to it, it can tell us everything that we need. So thank you for sharing that, Anna. And I'd love to continue, if that's okay with anyone, talking of listening to the bodies. Why do, and this is a generalization, why do most people find it easier or better or whatever? Why do people go down the road of popping a pill or any pharmaceutical medication, depending on what it is, rather than going down the holistic way? Why have we gone away from treating ourselves in a holistic method? What do you think?
In the United States,
Yes.
it's just become so
Sorry.
much easier. I'm sorry. Did I miss something?
No, you're right. No, you're right.
Okay.
You go.
It's just become easier in the United States for doctors to hand us a pill and shoo us away for the next 30 days. But we always have to come back for that 30-day visit to get another pill. Whereas if we tune in with the body, or if we see a functional medicine practitioner, they're going to look deeper for the root of the problem. These pills treat symptoms. They don't heal us. There's not one pill out here that heals us. It just makes the symptoms go dull. Just like people who are diagnosed with, say, schizophrenia and bipolar, they're not healing them. They're just handing them 4 or 5 prescriptions and saying, see you next month. In 2010, I had complete renal failure. Had no symptoms. I was still able to use the restroom and everything. Not one symptom other than feeling flu-like. But when I got to the hospital, they told my daughter 12 hours later, or if your mother had fallen asleep at home, she wouldn't be here. I remember the doctors and the nurses running around and rushing around me and the sounds of the tools and things. And I was holding my daughter's hand because I remember fading. And I had a experience, and when I fought to come back because I remembered I have kids, I have to go back. So I fought to come back. And when I came back, they had me in the hospital for 3 weeks, and they kept upping my antidepressants and anti-anxiety medicines because I refused to make a dialysis appointment to go home. And I told them, because no, I'm not accepting this. I refuse to be on dialysis for the rest of, I was in my 30s. No, this is not my life. I'm not accepting it. And what my doctor didn't see was the journal that I had on the side of my bed every night, where I would write every night, my kidneys are functioning fully, my kidneys have functioned, and I wrote it over and over thousands of times over a 3-week period. And that man came in my room 3 weeks later, pale as a ghost. And he says, I don't know what you believe in or who you believe in, but I need to know because what I'm seeing is not medically correct. And I smiled. And I said, so can you take this port out now and can I go home? Of course, I had to follow up a little bit after with the specialist to make sure that nothing was happening. But my kidney function is perfect today because I told my body, this is not the road we are going down in our 30s. My mother transitioned of renal failure. My stepmother transitioned of renal failure. And so it's no, this isn't my road. I'm not taking it. I refuse to get on this road. So either we're going to stand here and go bye-bye, or we're going to fight it. And I fought it. And my body listened. And the universe listened because I wrote it down. I wouldn't accept anything less.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Tywanah. It is an inspiration, and I'm so glad that you're here. Very glad that you're here today with fully functioning kidneys. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Anna, you wanted to say something about Abby.
Firstly, just congratulations to Tywanah. That is just super duper empowerment. Example number one. That's just so inspiring. I love that. And that really is what we can do. I was just remembering back before I knew about this, and I had also a similar situation, but different. It was like a bladder infection I was given antibiotics by some doctor in Germany where I was living at the time, and it didn't work. And so I called them up. I was like, I'm sorry, I need some more. I don't think I apologized, but I said, I need some more. It didn't work. I still have the infection and it's quite painful. It's like, and the doctor, even the secretary looked at the computer and said, according to the computer, you should be fine. And I said, that's wrong because I'm still in quite a lot of pain. The infection is still there. 3 days of antibiotics didn't work. Blah, blah, blah. Again, looked at the computer. No, computer says you should be good. You can't have any more. I was like, oh, thank you. Okay. And so I went 4 years with that infection in my bladder. And why did that occur? Because before I got the infection, I had a date with a man who treated me quite disrespectfully. I was so angry coming home that the anger was just, I could feel it boiling up inside me. And I had to go directly to a conversation with somebody where I didn't have the chance to go feel my feelings. So
Yes.
I could feel it. I could feel the anger get pushed down from the chest into the bladder. I felt it go down in there. And I had it for 4 years. And then finally, I think I got bitten by a bug or something, and I had to see the doctor again. When the bug bit me, kind of a crazy story. The bug bit me basically, and I was getting like a little feverish. I don't know what it was. But then all of these waves of anger just came out of nowhere after the 4 years of the infection. And so the anger was just boiling out for absolutely no reason. Oh yeah. And after that, I just speak, everything cleared up. And I had nothing after that. Like everything was cleared. It's like that bug bite got everything to come up again. But I had stored the anger in my bladder for a full 4 years.
Yes.
And now I know how to deal with that. I know how to feel that anger, let myself feel the anger and bring it up and heal the bladder, also in the way that Tywanah was mentioning. But back then I didn't know. And so that I could feel the anger going down and then coming back up when it was healed. I could really feel it. I think it's crucial to pay attention to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we do have to pay attention to those feelings. And if I can say thank you to your bug bite that brought it up to make you aware so it can be released. But yes, we do. And Abby, if you have anything else to share, I'd love to, and then I'll continue. So do you have anything about that?
Such great insights. Loving the share so far. So the question is around why we choose to take the pill rather than, look at the root cause and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, there is a time and place for pharmaceuticals for sure. They can be helpful in certain situations, but they are not the cure, and they are definitely like not how we heal. In my own personal experience, I have found that to be true. But it is the convenient way of going about life, just like many of us carry around like spiritual wounds, if you will, where we have wounds that we carry and we use all sorts of different band-aids to cover them up, to not look at them because we don't want to, right? Because it's hard, because it means that we have to face certain truths, maybe certain things, memories, maybe certain, take accountability, take responsibility for certain things. And that's the work. That's the hard work, right? And so many of us are very scared to do that, right? Because it's either we've never been taught how to do it in a way that's maybe gentle, in a way that's conducive to healing, all of that kind of stuff. And we've just been taught to put band-aids on our lives. And so similarly, sometimes that's what we turn to when we have a physical ailment, right? And last week I was coming down with some sort of a flu bug, and it was just like a 24-hour thing, and just felt really horrible and was like throwing up everything. And I ended up with a migraine headache at the end of the day. It was like so bad that every time I would walk, it felt like something with like, there was like a sledgehammer hitting my head kind of thing. And it was debilitating. Like it was debilitating. I was not well. And so I took a pill. Like I was like, I need to like have some relief because I can't go to bed right now. There was like, I have 4 kids running around. There was like bath and bedtime that we need to do. And my husband's super supportive and helpful and all of that kind of stuff. But I was like, there was still stuff that I needed to get done around the house before I could put myself to bed. And I took some meds and it helped. It relieved the migraine. And then I was able to get some rest and sleep really soundly and then wake up and all that kind of stuff, right? And so in that situation, I'm not going to be too stubborn to help myself have some relief, but it's not like a long-term thing that I would be, this was like happening long-term, like a couple days in a row. I'd be like really concerned as to like, why is this happening? Why am I having a migraine headache for 3 days now? This isn't the flu, or all those kind of things. And once again, that's the body signaling that there's something that needs to pay attention. I always like to think about how with our body, pain is an indicator. It's an indicator, right? It signals that there's something going on that you need to take a look at. And so similarly, our emotions are also indicators. And what happens is that oftentimes we use our emotions to dictate rather than indicate. They become dictators for us rather than indicating that there's something that we need to pay attention to. There's something that we need to be alert and all that kind of stuff, right? And so where the wisdom is learning to discern the difference, like learning to discern and when, so for example, like playing on to what I talked about earlier about waking up sad one day, which happens often. It happens often to me. Like I'm a human being and I have lots of deep inner work that I continuously do and I'm healing. It's with, like Tywanah mentioned earlier, it's a lifelong process. I don't expect that one day I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be like, I'm healed, no more work. I don't have to do any more inner work or any of that. I wish.
If only.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so if I wake up and my emotions are a little bit off, it's okay. Like I'm feeling a little bit of sadness here. Like what's happening? Some grief maybe is coming up for me. just meeting myself with that tenderness and compassion, and then the curiosity to want to understand, why is this coming up for me, and what can I now do that I can that can soothe this. And so for me, I'm just so jealous of your background, Anna, like just the nature. I have my backyard that has like a big patch of grass, and that's like my favorite place to just go sit there sometimes, like barefoot. Sometimes I'll lay there and I just allow the gentle breeze like on my face, notice the little subtleties, those kind of things. And then I connect with my spirit team, right? That helps me just to feel supported, held, and what it is that's really wanting to come up for me and move through me. And then I go into the things that I know that are going to be nurturing, that are going to be healing, that are going to be nourishing to my mind, body, and spirit in that time. And it's very rarely pharmaceuticals that help me do that. Very rarely, right? So yeah, so those are my thoughts.
And thank you for sharing those thoughts. And yes, totally ditto about going out onto the grass and just laying there barefoot and laying there connecting with nature. And yes, very jealous of Anna at the moment.
You're all
Love your
welcome to come visit.
I think we might do that. All right. So thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for joining us. And as we wrap up, we're already up almost at the end of the hour. I'd love to go around again. And is there any other wisdom that you'd like to share about healing the spirit in a holistic way? Any other tips that you might have? Any other experiences that you'd like to share on how holistic healing has helped you? Anything like that? And then also, if you have any offers that you would like to give, we will be putting all your links below, so we don't have to worry about links. But if you have any offers, please share them. Who would like to start? Everyone is off mute, so who would like to start?
I guess I'll go.
Anna.
Yes.
Anna.
I just want to encourage everyone that they can do this, that they are capable of really connecting with their bodies and having a dialogue with them, even asking your body questions, telling your body what you need. And like Abby and Tywanah were mentioning, also check in for answers, intuitive answers to make choices in life. Even we have brain cells not only in our brain, but we also have a lot of neurons in our heart and in our gut specifically.
Yes.
So we almost have three brains. So you can ask the same question when you're making a decision to your brain, get the pros and cons out of the way, and then ask your heart and see if it feels expansive as a yes or contracts for a no. And do the same thing for your gut, for your kind of lower intestinal area. It honestly has so many neurons, and all of those, that microbiome that's there coexisting with you, that all knows what's going to keep you alive and thriving physically. Yes, talk to your body. And actually, on that note, it is funny, but I do have a course that I've created to teach people how to do that. So if you are interested, that is on my website under courses, by the way.
Thank you so much. And then I'll be checking that out too. And for everyone who is watching, do click on those links below and do check out Anna's course. Thank you for that and for sharing. And it really is listening to our body, the three parts of our mind, our heart, and our gut and our stomach, which for me is where our deep intuition knows. We talk about that gut feeling. Let's tune into that gut feeling because it knows what it needs. Thank you. All right. And Abby, what about you? Do you have any last words of wisdom that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think so much goodness has already been shared. I think for anyone that is just starting on this journey, that maybe is starting to learn to reconnect with themselves, learn to listen to their intuition, trust, all of that kind of stuff. The most simple practice that I can share that was shared with me that has helped me tremendously is really, truly just those few minutes of stillness with yourself. Like wherever it is, wherever you are, like whether you're in your living room, whether you can be outside, whatever, just take those moments, just our AirPods off, phone off. I would even put my phone on airplane mode to ward off the Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff. And just take 3 deep grounding breaths and then just sit there for a couple of minutes and notice what you notice. Notice what you notice coming up. And that is just the most simplest, easiest way to start learning the language of our spirit. of our body and what it's trying to tell us, right? And yeah, so that other than that, like I mentioned, I am a trauma recovery coach. I'm also a feminine business mentor. And so I offer a really fun and unique free complimentary call. It's called the Cycle Breakers Leadership Breakthrough Call. And so it's a 60-minute call where we deep dive into, I do a little mini human design analysis. It's something that I'm trained in and something that it's changed my life. It's changed my life, my parenting, everything. And then we look at in the areas and ways that you are meant to lead in this world, right? And what are the ways that we can start showing up for ourselves authentically, truthfully, and connected, so that you can actually go out and do incredible things in the world, starting with your home, right? Starting with who you are, how you show up in your home and how you lead your home, and then out into the world, whether it's your business, coach, healer, mentor, all those kind of things, right? So I love offering that. I've made a lot of really incredible connections in that way. And I've also helped a lot of women in my private one-on-one coaching containers. This was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me here. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you for being here. We're so glad that you were able to make it, even at the last minute. So thank you. All right, Tywanah, what about you? Any last words of wisdom?
Last words of wisdom, just as Abby said, be still. If you can connect to Mother Earth or Grandmother Moon, do that. And just be still and listen. Your body will tell you what it needs. If you just be still, take these devices and get far away from them. And if you do have the ability to get to a park, or if you're fortunate and you have nature readily available in your backyard, get out in nature. First of all, as someone who does a lot of ancestral work, it's easier for your ancestors to talk to you and get you messages outside than it is when they have to fight Wi-Fi, electricity, concrete, and all the other things that we have running through our walls, especially if they have just transitioned. So get outside in nature, take a 5-minute walk, pause, breathe, and see what your body has to say. Really quickly, I had taken a medicine a year ago and it put 60 pounds of water weight on me in 5 days. And I went in circles with 4 or 5 different physicians for the last year until I met one of our wonderful Sacred You members, and she's got it turned around like that. And it's
naturally
so simple. It's all natural, so simple. Things you probably have in your refrigerator, and if you can't get it there, your local health food store has it. And the weight is coming off. But it was staying there while I was taking pills they gave me.
Yes.
Right. Please listen to your body. And if I had listened to my intuition when they offered to put me on that medication, that would not have happened. But instead, I listened to my brain, who said, you need relief from epilepsy. But my gut was saying, don't take anything else. So I missed that one. I missed the mark on that one. So always listen to your body. It speaks, and it speaks loudly sometimes.
It certainly does.
Oh, and to offer my offer, I'm giving you a free 30-minute strategy. It's called a sacred strategy session. And it's where we work out a couple of things that you're going through, talk about maybe any unhealed trauma that may be coming up in your body or work or whatever it is. It's a free 30-minute sacred strategy session with me.
Thank you. And last thing before we go, Tywanah, tell us about your tribe and how you use your abilities, or what your tribe's all about, in helping you to heal holistically.
So I am the Psychic Essence Collective tribe leader, and we do all things psychic. We cover everything that has to do with being psychic, or how to recognize your psychic abilities. And even that has been healing for me. I'm comfortable speaking publicly now. I'm comfortable teaching publicly now. It's healed a lot of those fears that I once had. And not only that, I found my home in Sacred You. Sacred You has been my beautiful home. And it's even when I have a bad day or if I have a seizure and I come on and Sophia's, oh no, we can cancel. I'm like, nope, this is home. This is where I want to be. This is where I need to be. This is my home. Yes, that's what I do with the Psychic Essence Collective. And please join Sacred You because it does feel like home.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And you're so welcome. We're glad you're here. And yes, ditto to what Tywanah said. Please join Sacred You. Because we really do create a home. We call it, it's your spiritual family, just one click away. And there's so much wealth here. So I'd like to thank Tywanah and Abby and Anna for coming on. And just wrapping up, you've shared some incredible wisdom. And it really comes down for me is take time, be in nature, go visit Anna, or go into your backyard like Abby. And Tywanah, when Tywanah moves, you've got so much nature there too. Be in nature, listen, take that time to listen to our bodies, your mind, your heart, and your gut. Because if we don't listen, we get to a stage where our bodies will yell at us, and that's when we have dis-ease. So let's get the message out there, create like a movement. We have so much out there. We haven't even really covered the actual ways. There's so many methods. There's the breath work, there's sound, there's energy healing. There is so much out there. Chinese medicine, traditional medicine, that we can heal ourselves in a holistic way, and which is healing the spirit as well as the body, making it whole, holistic. Thank you ever so much. For everyone out there who is watching, click on the links below, reach out to these amazing women, and while you're there, check out Sacred You. As Tywanah said, come and join us. And we have wisdom circles. We've still got a few panel discussions. We've got archetype circles that are coming up now. So much more on offer. Come and join us for free. So it's sacredyou.love /join free. Come and join the village. Hang out in our village. Thank you again ever so much for joining us.
Wise words, Sophia. Thank you very much for having us.